like to call to order this meeting of the Peabody City Council Ad Hoc Committee on Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. Present for the committee this evening are Councilors Gould and Melville, and myself, Councilor McGinn, as chair. All other councilors are present this evening. We have 3 items on the agenda. First item is an update on Peabody's Green Community Program participation. And presenting that to us this evening is the Director of Community Development, Mr. Bellavance. Mr. Bellavance.
Good evening. Kurt Bellavance, Director of Planning and Community Development. So the Green Communities is a program that where we got adopted as part of the statewide program. We had to do 5 criteria in order to pass, so to speak, the program and be invited as part of that. When we did that, we received a grant for approximately $230,000. It's called a participation grant. So we received that, and that was to address items that we had listed in an energy audit that we did throughout the city. So part of that whole program, we identified areas we want to address, and they responded by giving us funding to that. So we identified 19 specific projects that we wanted to address through the program. 16 of those projects are complete as of today. Those dollars were spread throughout the city in various buildings. We spent the money on 4 libraries, 3 fire stations, City Hall, 5 schools, the Public Services Building, the Golf Maintenance Building, and the Cemetery Office. Each one of those had different values associated with that, depending on the type of work and the age of the building. As part of that, we have approximately $73,000 left of that $230,000. And we've been working with Jim Politano in the Facilities Department and our consultant, Energy Conservation, Inc. They were the ones that put together the building audit plan for us. And we're trying to identify the best way to spend that last remaining $73,000. Once we do that, we'll get that approved through the state. Basically gives us the okay in spending that. And then what we do is we typically look at the payback for repairs. We look at the age of the building. For example, the high school needed a little bit of work, but we decided we didn't want to spend money on a building that may not be there in a few years. So we go through that as part of this plan. So the energy audit included all of those buildings, including the high school. So as I said, we've spent about $157,000 so far, but we've also leveraged $180,000. What we try to do is tie in other incentives and grants that can go along with that. And the big piece of that is National Grid. They have several different energy incentive programs. So we tried to tie all the work that we were doing into that. So each quarter since last fall, we've been filing a quarterly reporting update on that on all 19 projects. Just recently submitted end of September for that. And then what we're doing now is we're preparing to submit our annual report. So this is our first annual report that we'll submit with the state. So we have a meeting set up in another week to go over all the information that we have to provide as part of that annual reporting. Once we do that, then we'll also, as part of that, we'll talk about finalizing that $73,000 that I mentioned and what we want to spend that on. And then hopefully we'll have that all cleared up this fall, and then we'll be able to address that and spend that funding. Then we'll be complete as that first year and that first grant, which is the participation grant. That leads into additional grants. It's called the competitive round. Once we enter into that, we'll probably look at not 19 projects. We'll probably look at 2 or 3 that cost more money. For example, if we replace a boiler system for a building, that could be in excess of $100,000. So we'd look for grant money and use that grant money to do that. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we're working with the facilities department in regards to some of the older buildings and trying to address that and create them to be a little bit more energy efficient. So that's where we stand now. The next step for us is to file the annual report and then get a green light to spend the final dollars, and then we'll start up again and seek money through the competitive round for other additional projects. Happy to answer any questions about that.
Questions from the committee? Questions from other councilors? I have some questions. Mr. Belvance, the last update here was quite a while ago. It was December 2024. And it looked like we were, at that point in time, on track to finish up 18 projects in January of this year. So I'm a little confused. Did something happen that caused us to slow down on progress in terms of getting that done? Because these competitive grant rounds happen twice a year, and you had indicated that we might be in position to apply for that first competitive grant round in March of this year. So that we obviously missed that, and we missed the September round. That the March round was announced by the state in terms of the successful applicants, and that was $8 million of grant money to, I think, 43 communities. So there's some sizable money out there that, as time goes on, if we can't spend down this designation grant money, that I think you're telling me there's still $73,000 of that left. And the numbers that I thought we were looking at was that those initial 18 projects were $480,000 in total, $271,000 from the designation grant, $195,000 from the National Grid program, and then about miscellaneous $14,000 from city funds cobbled together for that 480 to take on those projects. So I'm just a little confused as to how almost a year later we're still looking for a way to spend that last $73,000 and why those projects didn't get completed. I understand you're at a bit of a disadvantage tonight because we had asked Mr. Politano to be here as well from facilities. I know he's directly involved with a lot of this. But if you could please do the best you can and kind of explain what has gone on. Thank you.
Sure, happy to do that. I think as I mentioned earlier, we put in for 19 separate projects. That took longer than we thought. I think we should have realized when the state said, you're doing 19 projects, that maybe that was a little bit too much. But what happened is at the end, we had, for example, the City Hall, they did an incorrect measurement of windows. We waited for them to come back. They measured the right windows. They ordered materials. They had the wrong materials. We waited for them to get the right materials, and then they realized they couldn't do it. So they couldn't fix the windows on the first and second floor. So that held us up for several months. The other one is that part of the incentive was lighting, to replace lighting and lighting fixtures. We have to follow a public procurement law in regards to that. These other projects, I don't know how to describe it, but they're under a separate procurement process where we didn't need to go out to bid. With the lighting projects, we'd need to go out to bid. We'd have to actually hire an electrical engineer to review the lighting and break down the differences of what we'd need for equipment and replacement parts versus what we would cost for labor to do that. So that was going to be another lengthy process. In the meantime, we went through changeover with the facilities team. So finally, we got Jim on board. We had our consultant come out and meet with him and go over several of the sites that we thought would be feasible. We've narrowed a few of those down, and we're just waiting basically to get a little bit more information in regards to that, to have the state approve us on that. So it's just kind of a few different things that slowed us up in that process.
Well, thank you for that explanation. What's your confidence level that we'll be able to be on track to engage in these competitive rounds going into 2026? I guess we're essentially a year off from where we had hoped to be in pursuit of that other pool of money. So what are your thoughts on wrapping this up and being eligible to make those applications?
And speaking with the state several weeks ago, we talked about or getting organized for the annual report and making sure that was complete. And we talked about the spring round coming up and being able to apply for that next round that's coming up. And so that's the goal. And there's a lot of technical questions in regards to how mechanics work in regards to heating, ventilation, cooling systems. So that's not my area of expertise. So it was good to have Jim Politano come on. He's pretty knowledgeable about that, and we're working well with him and the consultant to try to get the best bang for the buck.
Thank you, Mr. Bellavance. So it sounds like you're fairly confident that we should be in position if things go our way with the annual report, et cetera. Thank you. Is there any other questions with regards to the first item on the agenda from the committee or the council? If not, moving to the second item, community development, comment on the possibility of pursuing climate leader community designation. Mr. Bellavance.
Yes, so actually one of the requirements is to have a year under the belt of the green community and have your annual report meet the requirements for the green community program, which we haven't got to yet. But there are several requirements in regards to becoming a climate leader community. I believe there's 17 communities, around 17 right now in Massachusetts that are at that point. But some of the items that they list as a requirement, as I mentioned, we have to have our annual report filed. We have to establish or maintain a committee that advises and helps coordinate clean energy and those types of activities. We would have to have a municipal decarbonization commitment. That is a commitment to eliminating on-site fossil fuel use by the municipality by 2050. The next requirement would be to develop a roadmap for decarbonization. So I'm not sure in regards to the net zero plan that we have that I'll be speaking about next, whether that will qualify or whether we'll just have to do an addendum or an update to that plan to make sure that we're meeting that requirement. Then the next one is a zero emission vehicle policy. So we'd have to develop a policy where the city would purchase only zero emission vehicles for municipal use, and that's whenever a commercially available, they're available or practical. So, for example, a police car, you wouldn't typically make an EV charged car. And then finally, the requirement would be to adopt the specialized stretch code. So part of becoming a green community member, we adopted the stretch code. They have an additional stretch code that's called the specialized, and there's additional requirements for any new development that would meet that. So that would be another process. So those would be basically the 6 requirements that we would have to follow, and basically the city would have to adopt in regards to becoming a climate leader community. Then once you do that, there are other grants that are available through that program as well.
Do you have a recommendation on pursuing this? I mean, that's the process, but what are your thoughts in terms of it being worth our while? I mean, it's just to kind of remind you as to how the question came to you a year or so ago. We were kind of late to the game in the whole green communities thing. There were the vast majority of the municipalities in the state of Massachusetts had already been designated as green communities and had been benefiting from the funds associated with that program. As you just mentioned, there's currently only 17 communities in Massachusetts. I think that's a good number. So, you know, there's an opportunity here that rather than be a follower, to be a leader. And so the question I have to you as part of your charter is planning. So from a planning perspective and understanding that there are, I guess I'm leading the witness here a little bit, but understanding that there's some significant additional money available if we would obtain the status, do you see value in pursuing this?
We're taking one step at a time, so we're making sure that we comply, get our annual report done in regards to being a green community. There certainly are steps. Some of these steps we can accomplish pretty easily. I think probably the biggest one would be adopting the specialized code. I'm not as familiar with that. We'd probably want to have a separate meeting through the city council and bring in the building inspector, the commissioner, and have possibly a builder come in and we can talk about that. Basically talk about what the difference would be in regards to that. I know now with the stretch code, when we meet with new developers through the construction review process, we remind them that we have that. It's depending on whether they're in state or out of state, there's a lot of questions in regards to that and what's required as part of that. So I'm sure if we adopted the next level, there'd be additional questions and so we'd want to get dived into that a little bit deeper to figure out if that's something we really want to have in the city of Peabody. That's probably the biggest piece of that.
Thank you, Mr. Bellavance. Any other questions from the committee or the council? Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mr. Bellavance, does becoming a climate leader community designation, is that contingent upon being a green community?
You have to be a green community first, yes. Yeah.
So have we met that? Have we met being a green community?
Yes, we haven't met the first year annual report. That would be the first step to do.
So we haven't yet, we haven't been designated officially a green community.
Yes, where we are a designated green community.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yep.
But you just have to do your annual report
Correct.
as part of the green community requirement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So then this climate leader community designation, you're suggesting that Peabody pursue that. What type of mandates does this put on private citizens or small businesses? Or is it strictly just the city?
I don't want to get the wrong impression that I'm recommending that we do that. It's something that we're going to look into. I don't have enough information in regards to that. As I said, we want to get through the first step, you know, do everything we need to do with the green community in their designation grant, get annual report filed, and then once we do that, then we'll start to dig into this a little bit more to see what's involved, whether it's the business community, it's obviously the municipality, how is it for private citizens. So I just don't have all the information in regards to that yet.
Okay, I'd need a lot more information on that, specifically how it's going to affect private citizens and small businesses. It's one thing to have the municipality be mandated by things by a vote of the council, but it's entirely different to put mandates on private citizens and private businesses in order to pursue this designation. So I would have reservations until we get a lot more information. Thank you.
Yep.
A point of information, Councilor Manning Martin, the second step is to form a local committee to advise, coordinate, and lead the whole effort. So, and that includes citizens, or includes council members, it includes staff, and it includes people from the business community. So it's not just like you take a vote on it, you go into it. It's a significant process that has a lot of community input. But, you know, just kind of, you can't ever get there if you never start, right? So that was my thought. Councilor Weldon.
Thank you, Chairman McGinn. I know that this is still preliminary for the second step, but I'd like to ask you, Mr. Bellavance, as you're gathering the information, if you could inquire as to the ability for the city of Peabody to use carbon credits, if we can sort of buy down the need for some of the otherwise mandated items, particularly, I heard you mention zero emission vehicles. I know that oftentimes those are offset with carbon credits and things like that. So it may be worth looking at as we do a cost benefit analysis of how much money we're spending out versus potential grant opportunities coming in. But sounds like it could be a good opportunity, but I agree with Councilor Manning Martin. We certainly need to learn more. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Weldon. Any other councilors? Councilor Higgins.
I'm just looking at this as well, and it sounds like the green communities is the first step, and this is a higher tier of that, and there's 19 communities involved. The DOER is explaining that this applies to municipal emissions, so it's applicable to municipal properties. No, it doesn't appear to have an impact on the residents directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Higgins.
I can respond just that the stretch code itself has an impact on commercial, municipality, residential as well. So as I said earlier, I don't know enough information about the specialized stretch code, but that may also apply to residential development as well. I just don't know.
Thank you. No other questions? We'll proceed to item C, which is an update on progress against Peabody's net zero roadmap. Mr. Bellavance.
Okay, good evening. Just to let people know that they're not familiar with that, the net zero roadmap is a plan. The city community development received a grant to develop the plan, and we worked across the city. We worked with PMLP, we worked with residents and businesses to develop this plan that involves city departments, several groups, Housing Authority, PMLP, private development, state organizations, nonprofits, and others. As I say, it takes a village to put the plan together. And so the plan outlined 5 sections. Those sections are buildings, mobility, energy, natural systems, and other. So under each one of those sections, they identify a strategy or an action item that's recommended for the city to take in regards to that, or a partner of the city. So the first section under buildings, what we've done so far with that is we've used the Construction and Review Committee, which is an internal meeting with developers prior to them filing applications. What we do is we try to promote best practices for energy in regards to conservation and improvements that they can make. Any requested projects that come through the 40B process, we do that as well. We talk to them about energy efficiency, using products within their apartment complexes that would be better energy efficient products. We've also partnered with outside groups, mostly by attending workshops, attending seminars, developing other relationships with groups like the Ipswich River Watershed Protection, the Essex County Greenbelt Association, and other groups that have similar goals that we've done. So we've been doing that. And then we also adopted the energy finance program. It's called PACE, which is Property Assessed Clean Energy, which the City Council here adopted in regards to allowing businesses and multifamily buildings with 5 units or more to get low rate financing and have that actually tied to their property assessment, similar to a tax, which it makes it more enticing for that. In regards to building, some of the things that we're working on, we need to do more outreach for programs and marketing. We would require net zero on all new municipal buildings. We haven't built any new municipal buildings. I know we're building one now, and we plan to build some in the future. We would adopt what's called an energy disclosure policy. And then we would, again, as I mentioned in the last conversation, we would adopt a specialized stretch code. So those are some of the items listed in the building section that we would be continuing to work on. The next section is mobility. We did receive a grant to develop a pedestrian and bicycle plan. We received $110,000 from the federal government, but that is on hold right now. We're not sure when we'll get that money to complete that project. Part of that is to reduce miles traveled. So what they want is reduce basically single occupancy vehicles. Part of that, which is some of the improvements, is the bike path extension project. So we will be breaking ground probably if it's a mild winter, in the winter, if not the spring, on the first section from Leahy to Endicott Street. And then hopefully the next fall we'll be breaking ground on the other section, which would lead from Lieutenant Ross Park over to Peabody Road. We've also, the city's working through the Central Street project, which is improving the sidewalks in that area. And then we've been working with the city of Salem in regards to their skipper, trying to expand that into both Peabody and then Danvers and Beverly as well. So we're in constant discussions with them in regards to that and how we can do that. And then we're also working with the MBTA in regards to improving bus stop locations throughout the city and allowing better access for people that are needing to use the bus and better shelter system on that. Some of the things that we're working on in regards to mobility that we haven't achieved yet is to adopt a zero-emission municipal fleet policy. Again, that probably relates to becoming a climate leader. And then providing more charging stations throughout the city. We did have 6 new charging stations in downtown with the parking lots, and we're looking to hopefully do some more. The next section is energy as part of the roadmap plan. As I mentioned a few items ago, we're working with facilities department in regards to outdating some of the poor operating mechanical systems within some of the older buildings and trying to replace those to have better energy efficiency in those buildings. And then we're continuing to work with National Grid in regards to all their different incentive programs to make sure that we can apply and they're available for the city. Some of the things that we're working on still with the energy action item is renewable energy purchase programs. That would mostly would work with PMLP in regards to that. Creating other local net zero incentives, and then other items that we identify was to work in regards to special permits that the city council sees and trying to entice developments to build net zero buildings by receiving certain incentives through the special permit process. So those are some of the things that we're continuing to work on. The next one is natural systems. That involves mostly open space and those types of things. So we know our office provided some grant funding to New Hall Fields to assist them with their food programs and education. We've also, as you're fully aware, we've purchased open space, which helps promote better air quality. And then some of the things that we're working on is to support air pollution monitoring or create an air quality pilot program in the city, and then develop a better waste reduction methods or programs. So those are some of the things that we're working on. And then the last item is other. Basically, the action item for that is to hire a sustainability coordinator to manage all of this. We haven't got to that point yet, but that's what was listed in the action plan. So those are the things that we've done and some of the things that we're continuing to work on. But as I mentioned earlier, it's a combination of several city departments, PMLP, school, housing authority, and other private and nonprofit organizations that we're working with to try to create, to all work together to try to create a net zero plan for the city. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Bellavance. Questions from the committee or from other councilors? Seeing none. Thank you very much for the update, Mr. Bellavance. That completes the agenda. Yeah, that completes the agenda. This time I'd accept the motion to adjourn. You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. We are adjourned.